Hey guys, today we'll be reviewing this 4K dash cam that I got on Amazon, which is basically produced by a company called Torvo. So it records in 4K on the front camera, giving you clear, detailed footage from both angles. It also supports 5G connectivity so that you can quickly transfer videos straight from the dash cam to your phone via their application. The night vision mode really stands out. It captures bright, sharp footage even in low light conditions. There's also a parking monitoring assist, which automatically starts recording whenever the camera detects unexpected movement around your vehicle, which is actually pretty cool. The product also comes with a rear camera that attaches to the front dash cam and shoots up to 1080p for full coverage. And last but not least is the built-in GPS system, which lets you track your vehicle's location at all times. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what's inside the box. Right on top, you'll see this little plastic film. This is what attaches to the inside of your front windshield, and that's where you're going to be mounting your dash cam. Of course, you got the instruction manual. I'd recommend just taking a quick skim and looking through it. Now, first impressions of the dash cam, it feels pretty solid and well built. On the side here, you've got the power button, which turns the device on and off. On the other side, you'll find a USB-C charging port, the input for the rear camera, and the microSD slot. The nice thing is that it does come with a microSD card included, which I believe is a Class 1 card and should be good enough for recording 4K. I can't attest to the quality of the SD card, so feel free to upgrade to a brand like SanDisk or PNY. The camera itself can swivel up or down, which makes it easy to get that perfect angle no matter what kind of windshield you have. The nice thing about this dash cam is the widescreen display. Most dash cams use a smaller square screen, but this wide format gives it a much cleaner and more modern look. It'll also come with a prying tool in the box, which is super handy for tucking away your charging cables neatly along the trim. It definitely helps keep your setup nice and clean and organized. For our last box, you'll find the charging cable as well as the rear camera. The power cable uses a standard cigarette lighter outlet, but what's nice about this is that it also uses a USB-C input, which means you could technically power it using an external battery pack if you want to do so. Turn it on, and look at that. It works. So if for whatever reason, it's going to look a little blurry right now because I basically still have the film in there. But basically, if you want to go and just take this with you on the go for whatever reason, whether you're on a motorcycle, you're riding your bike, and you want to capture some other 4K footage using your dash cam, you could pretty much use an external battery for that. So pretty cool. And finally, the rear view camera. It records in 1080p and the cable length is generous, so even if you're driving a longer vehicle like a truck, you'll have no problem reaching the back. Once everything's plugged in, let's go ahead and get this installed in the car and see how it performs. Before mounting the camera, just make sure to remove the plastic film that protects the screen as well as the lens. So pretty easy to set up. Just remember to put the plastic film on the windshield and attach the dash cam to the plastic film. So alright, now that we have our dash cam mounted in place, let's go ahead and install the battery basically for it. So probably going to be the hardest part of doing the dash cam is basically getting all of this wiring up around your panel, up around the back, and into the cigarette lighter charge. Of course, if you really don't care, you could just have the charger connect directly and let the wire hang, but obviously most people want to keep it nice and clean, so let's go ahead and do that. So once you have everything in place, you like the way the wiring is going, let's go ahead and set up the rear view camera. I would basically recommend just undoing everything. I mean, granted you have a very long cord here, and just go ahead and plug it in first. And same thing, we're just going to go ahead and wire this all the way in the back, and we'll worry about the alignment at the location of the rear view camera later. But the nice thing again is it swivels very easily, so don't worry about trying to get this precise. Just go where you want it in the rear view camera. Or sorry, rear view window. So after all that's said and done with the wiring, not bad. This is the only thing that's pretty much dangling, but otherwise I pretty much ran it around this whole trim. Had to double loop it because of this skin. It goes all the way up to the top of the vehicle, all the way back to the front of the camera. So now that we had a chance to go ahead and connect it, let's actually go ahead and see how it actually functions. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see this. So it's basically showing the front view of the camera again. You got your recording indicator right there with the flashing little red thing. But again, pretty cool that you could go ahead and switch between the front and the rear. So right now, this is the rear view camera. Let's just go ahead and zoom that in. So again, that would be the rear view camera. And you actually also have a cool option of doing both a front and a rear. So after switching through the mode, you have both the front camera as well as the rear camera. Let's see. So basically you could go through the resolution, just seeing how much you want to go through. 4K, 2K, no problem there. All right. So most of these things are pretty self-explanatory. Like if you want to have loop recording, time lapse, most of these features are not going to be super important for the average user. But a little bit about what the G sensor is. So basically what the recommendation is to have either the low or the middle setting. And what the G sensor basically means is that there is some, I guess, gyration scope within these dash cams here, where if it senses a little bit of a bump or a shake, it will automatically keep that video locked in, so that doesn't automatically get deleted with the loop recording. And what that basically does is that, for example, if you get into a car accident, it's going to automatically lock the video in place. That's way, in case you hit someone or someone hits you, that video where it senses the shakiness, or in this case, the perturbation, the vibrations from the vehicle being hit, will keep that video locked in so that it doesn't lose the evidence, right? If you guys get into a car accident and it's not your fault, you want to basically keep that video in place. So the recommended setting here is middle or low to middle, because any type of sensation where it's like, again, it's bumpy, it's going to basically lock that video in place. So, and again, up to you guys how you guys want to set this up. We'll set that to video, or sorry, middle. Okay. Again, most of these are be pretty self-explanatory. And I do want to go ahead and showcase the Wi-Fi. Once you go ahead and connect to the Wi-Fi, let's go ahead and check it back into the application here. So in this case, it says to always connect. All right. And we could go ahead and take a look at the application here. So right now it's showing that this is connected. And basically, this is pretty much optional if you guys want to use the app or not. But basically, you could go ahead and see what your current video recording looks like. There's not much here right now, basically because we haven't really done anything. So if again we look at this, these are all of the videos that have currently been recorded from the camera. So basically the application will allow you to connect directly to the dash cam, allowing you to view the footage without having to automatically disconnect the SD card. So the front-facing camera shoots at 4K at about 30 frames per second, so everything looks pretty sharp and detailed. On a nice sunny day like today, you can clearly see license plates, the street signs, and all other things that you might probably miss on a regular dash cam. Now, if we take a look at the nighttime footage from the front dash cam, you'll see the clarity is surprisingly pretty good as well. It does a great job capturing detail even in low light settings without all the noise and grain you might get with other dash cams. Alright, so now let's take a look at the rear view camera, which shoots in 1080p. While it doesn't look as sharp or clean as the front camera, it still holds up pretty well during the daytime. You get decent detail, especially in good lighting, but once it gets dark, especially in low light conditions, the quality definitely takes a hit. You'll notice more grain and noise in the footage, and overall it just doesn't handle low light at all. Alright guys, that's pretty much my review for the TD3 dashcam by Torvo. And I do want to say that I have had dashcams in the past, kind of this is like 5-10 years ago, where the quality and the resolution was like 720p, 1080p, and it wasn't as good of a quality as we do have it now. And it is nice to have a 4K quality dashcam, particularly, especially at night. So when you guys look at the images, for example, the video of the nighttime shots, very good quality, very, very crisp, no issues with like noise, extra grain, it just clean, crisp, good overall quality. And just a nice added feature of the rear dash cam. Again, granted, the resolution is not as nice, especially at night, but just knowing the fact that you do have a rear view camera that does attach to the front dash cam of this product makes it nice that you're pretty much covered all around, right? And I do want to say that if you guys are looking for a dash cam, one of the nice features of getting a dash cam is knowing the fact that you are pretty much covered. And what I mean by that is, if you get into a car accident, a lot of times it can become a hassle, or it's like a he said, she said situation where, he hit me or she hit me, and in fact that's like, no, that's not true. Like, people will just generally tend to blame one another. Knowing that you have video evidence, good quality video evidence of the fact that it wasn't your fault is actually a really, really good way to just have peace of mind knowing that, I'm covered, I'm good, here's my evidence right here. The one last thing I do want to mention is that I did mention previously that this thing did have parking monitor assistance, but you do need to have a special cable, which is what's called a step down cable. And I didn't really look too into it. I mean, for me personally, I don't really care too much about the parking monitoring assistance, but it's another cable that allows you to plug it into the USB charger or USB output, whatever, to the dash cam, and it kind of plugs in directly to the vehicle's power. I'm not exactly sure how to do that. I'm sure if you guys decide to go ahead and go that route, they'll have instructions on how to set that up. So, alright guys, so that's pretty much my review today for the TD3 dash cam by Torvo. So if you guys are looking for a nice, good quality dash cam, go ahead and give this company a look. Alright guys, thanks for watching.